Welcome back to Automotive Electronics. Quiet on the set! Today we're working on a 2007, what was it, GMC Savanna. So this is a Kelsey Hayes module, much like the other Kelsey Hayes modules, but it was an absolute bitch to get off. Hey, do you not understand what quiet on set me? Anyway, this thing's got a lip that goes around it, and what we had to do to get it apart was, well, the Dremel tool, not with a wire brush but with a cutoff wheel. We had to get rid of the lip, as much of the lip as we could, and it's much put together like the other Kelsey Hayes modules, just sealed on there. We've already got it off, so I'm going to show you how. But this was glued on, and the glue, the silicone, is wrapped up around the edge much more. So with the other Kelsey Hayes modules, it's more just a flat surface and sealed that way, where this, the silicone wraps around the edge, and you can't get to it. You can't get to it until you get rid of this ridge, and once you get rid of the ridge, then you can start working on it. And I'm going to tell you guys, it ain't for the lighthearted, man. This sucker was on there like you wouldn't believe. We finally got an edge up, and I bought me some new pliers, some reverse pliers that spread, and we just got those in there and started working at it. You got to be careful to stay off the surface or the circuit board. Start working on it, working on it, working on it. Shove a screwdriver in so you keep your gap, come around, work on it. It literally has been here for 3 or 4 days trying to figure out how we were getting into this thing. And I had to call the guy and tell him I can't get into it without being slightly destructive. And he said, well, it ain't working, so knock yourself out. So we got a little more destructive. We took off this lip around the edge with the zip tool, and some of the lip is still there, but most of it is gone. And we were able to get under it enough that we could get that top panel off. This is 90% of the job. All right, I'll get over here and I'm going to show you all the rest of the job. Let's actually just switch over to the microscope, and we'll get in here and look and show you guys what we have found. So we have found is not real severe cracking like we see in some of the Kelsey Hayes. You got some cracking here. You definitely have some cracking on this one, cracking on this one. I don't recall. Yeah, these just look like they're old, dry, and whoo! What happened to my tweezers? I use some different tweezers. They're all twisted up. So these things, they feel solid, but there's a lot of cracking there, so I can imagine that was probably causing a problem. Underneath the solenoids, we also have some cracking. Yeah, nothing like really egregious where the pin's just falling out of the hole, but definitely probably causing the issue. All right. So let me get on the other camera. We'll get you zoomed in a little bit here. Let me get this camera positioned a little better. Alright, so I'm going to show you the areas you're looking at. These pins, these pins, these pins, these 2 pins. Again, on that side, there's kind of like a mirror version on that side. And these pins that I'm circling here all correspond to these little solenoids underneath. All right, which those things vibrate around. They're what causes your ABS to work. It senses whether or not you're braking or not, and how hard you're braking, etc. These pins you want to resolder. these pins you want to resolder. These. Now, don't typically, these are the header pins that are next to here. I don't typically see them cracking as bad, but we go ahead and go over them anyway. There was one module that came in one day that I did find an issue with the pins, and that's where the only time we found a problem with the pins on the header pins there. But let's look at this again too. One little thing that I'm just interested in is what kind of EEPROM this is up in the top, or if it is an EEPROM. Let's get focused. No, 25040. So yeah, that's your EEPROM. So this will contain the programming to the vehicle. So if you were to get another one of these, you could swap out that EEPROM right there, or read that EEPROM and clone another one. You get away without having to go through GM's SPS software to reprogram this thing. Of course, you're going to have to get the top off of this booger. You know I use more foul language than that when I'm not on YouTube. But you got to get the top off of this to get to all of this stuff. So we're going to get to soldering and see what we can. We won't be able to test this. Now this Kelsey Hayes module, being out of a Savanna, the van, I'm sure it is in a prevalent with the vans. Let me see the top of that sucker. The other Kelsey Hayes module is only about this long, about from here to here. All right, this one's got more going on. What more is going on? More solenoids. Don't know why. You know, we're just going to fix it. So the one that's shorter, you won't have that problem. Not as much of a problem. You just go around with a razor blade with the one that's shorter, and that top pries off pretty easily. But this one's not like that. So soldering. You see my specs? All right. Oh, we didn't have this iron on. Come on. Let it go. All right, you can use a little flux on this. If your work time is extended on any of these pins, you'd probably want some flux. Recommend the Amtech flux. It's good stuff. I tend to work a little quicker, so I can get away with just the flux that's in the core of the solder. But if you start to have difficulty resoldering any of these, you're not getting the flow you want, it's ugly, etc., flux is your friend. Fixes everything. All right. I'm going to hit these just because. I don't see any problem with them, but we're going to hit them anyway. And quite honestly, we charge about $150 to do a Kelsey Hayes module. That is the shorter version. This is the first one of the longer versions we've gotten into. And I believe we're going to be at about $250 to $300 on these, because I'm not exaggerating when I tell you it's a job getting this top off. I may have been trying to be a little too gentle with it at first. Sometimes there's a fine line between being too rough and too gentle, but haven't seen any more videos online of these, so I'm pretty sure people give up. These are some pretty big pins. Off camera? Oh, yeah. I was just hitting these down there. Sorry about that, guys. These are some big pins. I use a bigger iron on these pins. When I get over here to these smaller ones, we swap out for a smaller iron. And I try to always get in a position of comfort to solder. Things go quicker. Things work better. Sometimes my big ass head gets in the way. I understand that, but I'm the one fixing this thing, not y'all. So I gotta see. So if you notice, I went over to the second row of, or second set of header pins over here because I'm on the right hand row. And that is because, I'll get this last one, I'll tell you why. I don't want to have to reach over this solder to get to that one. So what I'll do is I'll turn it. This may seem very intuitive to most of y'all, but some people like the details. So now I can get to the second row without reaching over the first row. You want to be careful on any of these pins. You don't want to bridge one of them to the other. So if you get a little heavy-handed with your solder and put a little too much on there, like you'll bridge two pins together, that's what you want to avoid, because you damn sure don't want to have to take this apart again. And with that train of thought, while you're in here, you might as well hit some things that you know, I see this in instrument clusters a lot. These type of devices will turn loose. This is, I believe, a diode next to a resistor. All this tiny little stuff I would very seriously doubt is going to be a problem. I mean, it could be. Yes, technically it could be, but where we see the cracking and the problems is with all the components that vibrate, including the plug. So I believe we have it at this point. This one does have a big old fat processor on it. Some of the instrument clusters, the processor will turn off. And that's it. That's all you got. All right, coming back over number 2. So put it back together. Pretty simple process. You just want to make this thing watertight, get the top back on it. So you want to, this is just some silicone. Just want to put you a bead of silicone around it. Hey, go grab me a couple of those clamps that are out there next to the pallet on the dryer. And just a word to the wise. Yeah. Just a word to the wise here. You're gonna buy this gasket making silicone. Grab yourself a smaller tubes. Because the big tube's just a waste. You're gonna use about a little touch out of it, and then it's going to just dry up on you. And be a problem. These little small tubes, they seem to not dry up as well either. So this will last me for probably 15, 20. Those, replace your lid, get it nice and snug, get you some clamps, clamp it together. Yeah, these clamps have seen better days, but they still work. Let it sit for, I don't know, 12 hours, 24 hours, till it's dry. Not sure how long that takes for, I guess that depends on your climate and your temperature. However, there you have it. GMC Savanna. I'll put in the description what year models that this thing should cover. I'll try to run a part number on it, figure all that out. Big thanks to Joe, who got this bitch apart. Anyway, we'll see you guys on the next one. You have a good one. Hey, if you like what you saw here today, get down there in them buttons. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to get advised of the new content as it's released. My name is John. We've been here in San Antonio for over 20 years fixing electronics. We specialize in automotive, but we definitely can fix any component level repairs you might need. The company is Automotive Electronics. You can look us up on Google's Automotive Electronics in San Antonio, and you'll find us every single time. Until next time, I hope all your repair attempts are successful. Hopefully you save yourself a little cash along the way. I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks a lot. We'll see you in the next video.